Up with KREM begins now.
So I suppose this party could use a forecast. It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
The theatrics.
I love
my
the
goodness.
excitement, to be honest.
You should have seen it. They were dancing and singing. It was a whole affair this morning. We had it turned up at 4 o'clock in the morning today.
I will admit, to see that many people that excited about a weather forecast, it brings me some joy.
It does, yeah. Happy Groundhog Day, everyone. You just heard it there. 6 more weeks of winter because Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. So keep in mind, Punxsutawney Phil's record isn't always the greatest, nor is it accurate.
It's 50-50, and also he's in Pennsylvania, so maybe he's more Pennsylvania focused.
Yeah, people have been saying we need a West Coast Punxsutawney Phil. I think that'd be cool. It'd be fun to have one here, but we have our own meteorologist that's maybe a little bit more accurate.
I will say this. This one's a weird one for us. Okay, 6 more weeks of winter. Like real winter or the winter we've been having
good question.
This winter? Because those are 2 very different things here. And even the East-West Coast split, very much evident, not just today, but all week long here. The East Coast is going to be much colder than average, including Pennsylvania. North Carolina just got more than a foot of snow from this past weekend. Even Florida was feeling the chill with lows in the 30s in Miami. Meanwhile, the West Coast has been more than warmer than average, and it will continue to be that way. Even today, highs in the 40s all across the state, with plenty of rain on the west side right now. That will be arriving, though it will be more scattered than how it currently looks at the moment. So look for light scattered showers this afternoon and high temperatures still above average in the 40s.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact this morning from I-90 and Sullivan in Spokane Valley. You could see we're seeing a few more vehicles out on the roadways as we get going here on this Monday morning, but traffic moving great here, keeping it real, no issues to report, and people are getting where they need to go just fine this morning. We'll keep you updated though here on the traffic situation throughout the show. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. Your news time now is 6:03. This morning, the U.S. government is still in a partial shutdown. House members return to Washington this week, and they could vote on a funding package that will reopen the government tomorrow. The Senate passed the funding package last week. The legislation backs most government agencies throughout much of the year, except the Department of Homeland Security, which will only get funded for 2 weeks while lawmakers work to reform DHS immigration operations. This shutdown will not result in tens of millions of Americans losing food assistance, but it might have some difficulties when it comes to certain federal loans for homes or small businesses. Happening today, Spokane City Council members will talk about a new ordinance that would establish immigration enforcement free zones throughout the city. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live in the newsroom for us this morning. Brandon, you've had the chance to look over this ordinance. Tell us more about it and what it would do here in Spokane. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, if this ordinance is accepted, it would ultimately create safe spaces here in Spokane. That means establishing protections against immigration enforcement on city-owned property. The ordinance would prohibit agents from staging on city property and prevent any surveillance on city-owned property. So at noon today, there will be a hearing at the Public Safety and Community Health meeting. Council members will then get a chance to discuss.
In committee, we're going to be bringing forward an ICE free zone ordinance that would ban ICE from staging and surveillance in city-owned property.
Again, the first reading of that ordinance will be in just a few hours at noon. If any new developments come from that meeting, we'll keep you updated across all KREM 2 platforms. For now, back to you in the studio, Tim.
Brandon, thank you. Across Washington, Idaho, and other parts of the country, protests have been held against ICE and other federal immigration policies. But in Idaho, a group held a pro-ICE rally. This was the scene out in Boise over the weekend. The group rallied at the state's capital, showing support for federal agents.
I stand behind ICE and what they're trying to do, and they're doing the right thing. They're following the law.
Counter-protesters were just feet away pushing back on the pro-ICE supporters. They say they feel ICE enforcement policies have been going too far and have been hurting immigrant families. If you are planning on flying anytime soon, make sure you have a real ID or expect to pay at TSA. Over the weekend, a major change. If you do not have a real ID or another acceptable form like an enhanced driver's license or passport, you will have to pay a $45 fee. The fee will allow you to use TSA's Confirm ID program. You can do it in advance online. If you wait to sign up, though, at the airport, expect the process to take longer. This morning, 2 kayakers are safe after being rescued by the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit. Yesterday, one of their kayaks capsized on Lake Pend Oreille. The 2 kayakers were crossing from the Bayview area to the east side of the lake when one of them capsized near the south shoreline. Emergency crews were able to rescue the 2 from the shoreline. Officials say the lake temperature was about 34 degrees. The kayakers are okay, but they were cited for not having the required flotation device on board. Touchdown in California. This morning, the Seahawks are waking up in California. Right now, the team is getting ready to face the New England Patriots. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 49, so let's hope the Hawks can bring home the Lombardi Trophy this time. Well, this morning we're following up on a report you may have seen late last week saying the Seahawks could be up for sale after the Super Bowl. The estate of late owner Paul Allen says that's not true. ESPN reported the potential sale, citing league and ownership sources. Sharing the sale discussion has taken place at the league and ownership levels. The Paul Allen estate is pushing back. In a statement sent, the estate says the team is not currently up for sale. Paul Allen died in 2018, and while his final wishes did include selling the team eventually, the estate says that time is not now.
At 6:07, another look at our weather forecast at the moment, where our temperatures are still well above average, but will be capped in the mid-40s today, thanks to a little bit of some shower activity. Very light, very scattered showers for this afternoon. So not much in it, but just enough to keep those temperatures kind of stable today. Without it, it would actually be a lot warmer, and that will be the case later in the week. But there's all that rain. It's in Seattle right now. It will cross the mountains in a few hours.